Ninja Turtles eat homemade pizza to a rockin' beat. They like to slam those cola down, cause it keeps them moving at the speed of sound. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, super nice guys, green heroes in a half shell besides. Fresh from the sewer, they're a breath of fresh air, making sure the streets are safe for people everywhere. Whenever or wherever there's someone in trouble, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are there on the double. So let's all join along and clap to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle rap.
Hello, Sir Janitor Jake, sir? What in the world are you doings?
I'm being nostalgic right now. Duh.
Oh, sir.
Do you see this tape right here?
Uh-huh.
I used to listen to this tape all the time as a little kid, and I was actually having some pretty good fun. Until you showed up.
But aren't you used to reviewing the Phantom Menace, sir?
You know, I literally just finished up my review of the original trilogy, and I figured I would get a little bit of a break. No, but apparently not. Oh, apparently not. Now I gotta go and review the prequels now. Jeez. Now, you know what? Fine. No, it's fine, okay? It's fine. But you gotta promise me one thing. What the heck's going on over there? Why is everything all didgeridooed?
Lisa don't know. Lisa thinks it's interference, sir.
Huh. Well, it's not from my end, because R2-D2 and C-3PO never had this kind of a problem.
I'll try to figure it out, Sir Janitor Jake, sir.
Alright, well, at least you probably won't be bothering me as much as they did. Fine. So I guess while you're doing that, I'm gonna go get ready to do my review then. What's up everyone? Janitor Jake here. Now see, I finally finished up my review of the original Star Wars trilogy, chapters 4, 5, and 6. And now I'm going to be moving on to the prequel trilogy, chapters 1, 2, and 3. Now, like I mentioned in my previous reviews, I've never read any of the novels, or the regular books, or the comic books, or the coloring books, or the encyclopedias, or anything like that. And I've never really played much of the video games, so I don't really know what's canon and what is non-canon. All I know is what I learned from the actual films themselves. So today, I am going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, when I ended up reviewing the original trilogy, because they were a little bit older, I ended up reviewing them on good old VHS. However, because the prequels are a little bit newer, I'm going to go a step up. And I'm going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, on good old DVD. So without further ado, let's pop this puppy in and get to the review. So the basic storyline revolves around some stupid hogwashy political nonsense. Some organization known as the Trade Federation decides to stop trading goodies with this peaceful planet called Naboo, which is apparently so peaceful that they don't even have an army or any kind of military organization to protect the planet or its people in case any shenanigans occur. Just a few guards here and there, and the Trade Federation knows this and decides to invade Naboo. Now the idiots in charge of this trade fiasco are these stupid dinkelpusses who are actually taking orders from Darth Sidious, who's also pretending to be a good guy known as Senator Palpatine. And we all know who he eventually becomes. Anyway, these morons are complete imbeciles who act like they don't know what they want. When the Jedi show up to come to a peaceful agreement, the dum-dums are completely mad about it when they find out that the two guys are Jedis. So when they contact Sidious to find out what to do, and he says to invade Naboo, they're actually worried about it being illegal, even though they're completely fine with murdering the Jedis when Sidious tells them to later on. I mean, it's like these idiots don't understand what it's like to be a bad guy. They're going around doing all these bad and evil, corrupt things. I mean, they're fine with murdering the Jedis, but yet when it comes to something like, oh, let's invade a planet, then they're like, oh no, oh, but is that legal? Oh, is that legal or is it illegal? Oh, I don't know. Well, we want to be good guys now. What the heck? Make up your mind. So stupid. So right here is where we are introduced to our two main Jedis of the film. Good old Obi-Wan Kenobi and some new dude by the name of Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, I really do like the character of Qui-Gon Jinn. He's very friendly, has high morals, and seems like the perfect good guy.
I wish that was so.
Oh, but apparently he isn't, since he is never mentioned in the original trilogy. I mean, obviously chapters 4, 5, and 6 take place after chapters 1, 2, and 3, and the only characters that are in both the original trilogy and the Phantom Menace are Yoda, Obi-Wan, Vader, Palpatine, R2-D2, and C-3PO. And now that I think about it, who the heck is this guy? Or that guy? Were they even mentioned in the original trilogy? I have no idea, because they never mention their names throughout the entire film. I mean, it's the same nonsense that they pulled in Star Wars A New Hope. They basically take you and throw you into a story that's already going on and expect you to already know everything. But at least this time we're familiar with some of the characters. And by this point there have been so many comic books and other forms of media that if you've actually been on top of it all, you probably already know what's happening anyway. So anyways, after Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan get into a little spat with the droids from the video game Portal, they decide to take off and go to Naboo to rescue Queen Amidala from the trade feds. And as soon as they get there, we're introduced to everyone's favorite Star Wars character, Jar Jar Binks.
Yes, everyone likes him, sir.
Actually, everyone pretty much hates you.
Why do they hate him, sir?
I don't know. Apparently, they don't like your voice, and they don't like your face. So everyone wishes you were dead.
Dead, sir?
Yeah, your face is different, and your voice is different. So everyone hates you and wishes you were dead. That's the way the world is, I guess.
Why, sir, everyone show some
Oh, knock it off. Quit all that boo-hooing over there. I like ya. I think you're fine. If anything, the droids are the ones that are really irritating. The droids in here act like teenagers with their own personalities. If they were protocol droids like C-3PO, I would get it. But these droids look like they were made in a manufacturing plant. So if they all look the same, you figure they would have the same programming and act the same. But, like I said, they act like teenagers with individual personalities.
Coruscant, that doesn't compute. You're under arrest.
So after rescuing Pennywise the Clown, they end up on good old Tatooine, where they run into Anakin Skywalker, and we all know who he turns out to be. So after goofing off for a bit, Qui-Gon Jinn has these feelings, and he's all goo-goo over Anakin, because he can feel the power of the Force and all sorts of goofy nonsense. So Dr. Qui-Gon decides to check Anakin's blood for this stuff called midi-chlorians, which is apparently what the Force is, or some kind of goofiness. And then when he asks Anakin's mom who Anakin's father was, she's like, oh, no, there isn't one. Just gave birth to him right out of the blue. Duh. Oh, okay, Virgin Mary. I didn't know you gave birth to Jesus. Yeah, familiar story, wouldn't you say? So anyway, after some good old-fashioned gambling at the racetrack, Qui-Gon rescues Anakin so he can take him to the Jedi Council to be trained as a Jedi Knight. However, once they make it to Coruscant, the Jedi Council is all boo-hooing and crying and whining and flipping out about training Anakin because he's too old and might be influenced by the dark side, even though he's apparently the chosen one. I mean, they just got attacked by the demon from Insidious while trying to leave Tatooine. If anything, Anakin needs to be trained to become a Jedi. He could have the entire Jedi Council, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi training him and protecting him from being influenced by the dark side. Huh, but nope, too bad. Send him right back to Tatooine where he belongs. Yeah, because that's obviously more safe, right? Roaming around Tatooine as a slave with only your mother and this goof watching over you. Yeah, that's obviously a lot more safe than being surrounded by some of the most powerful Jedis in the entire universe. Yeah, okay. Whatever, the Jedi Council is full of idiots. But because Qui-Gon doesn't really give a hoot, he decides he's going to train Anakin anyway, so that's good. Other than that, the rest of the film is mostly political hogwash, where Palpatine is befriending Amidala and trying to sneak his way into controlling the Republic. Now, to be honest, it is kind of cool to see the origin of how Palpatine came into power. So after all that, Amidala decides to play nice with the Gungans and make peace with them, since she needs help fighting the Trade Federation. And while they're fooling around with all of that, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are fighting with the Insidious demon, which ends up leading to the death of Qui-Gon Jinn. However, Obi-Wan gets a little bit irritated by the death of Qui-Gon, and ends up killing Darth Maul. If only he could have done that earlier, huh? Yeah, that would have been good. So after everyone wins their battles and everything is all said and done, they decide to have a big giant party, and now Obi-Wan is going to train Anakin Skywalker. So basically that's the film in a nutshell. Now even though I really do enjoy this movie and think that it's pretty good, there are a few things in here that I don't like. One thing I don't like is how they made Jabba the Hutt. He's nothing but a big CGI blob that's absolutely horrendous. When they used practical effects in Return of the Jedi, he looked great. But because everyone is so obsessed with CGI, they had to go that route, which absolutely ruined it. And to top off that baloney, they completely ruined his voice. Here is how he originally sounded in Return of the Jedi. But this is the poo-poo they made him sound like in The Phantom Menace. Absolutely terrible. Another thing that was absolutely horrendous was the acting done by Natalie Portman as Queen Amidala. I mean, just look at this.
We are brave, Your Highness.
You're a Gungan, aren't you? How'd you end up here with us?
How long have you been here? I don't fully understand. This is a strange place to me. Our ship was damaged and we're stranded here until we can repair it. These junk dealers must have a weakness of some kind. I'm sure Qui-Gon doesn't want to put your son in danger. We'll find some other way.
The Queen is worried. Her people are suffering, dying. It's beautiful. But I don't need this to remember you by. Many things will change when we reach the capital, Annie. But my caring for you will remain.
Now, one thing I found kind of irritating, even though some people might not mind it, is that I felt this movie was catering more towards the kids. It seemed like they went out of their way in some places to appeal to the children.
You saw a big doo-doo this time.
It's not that big of a deal, it just didn't feel like the original trilogy. Then again, the original trilogy was not a giant CGI fest either, so whatever. Now there is one thing that I thought was a little weird, and that was the introduction to midi-chlorians. Now I kind of like the idea that the Force was more along the lines of magic. In fantasy worlds like Lord of the Rings or Dungeons and Dragons, elves can use magic along with, mages and wizards and sorcerers and what have you. So I kind of like the idea that the Force was an unforeseen power that only very specific people could tap into. However, it seemed like that they wanted to explain it and throw science into it. But that's just me being nitpicky, and it's really not that big of a deal. So with that being said, let's check out what I do like. One thing that I thought was pretty nifty-tifty was seeing the appearance of creatures and stuff from the original trilogy. Seeing the sand people shoot at the pods during the pod race was pretty awesome, as well as seeing the Jawas make a quick appearance. Taking us back to Tatooine and seeing Jabba, even though he looks absolutely horrible. And speaking of Jabba, one thing about him that I liked was how they made him seem more like a neutral and fair character. When Watto loses his bet with Qui-Gon Jinn and doesn't want to pay up, Qui-Gon threatens to tell Jabba, and Watto does not want that to happen.
Would you like to discuss it with the Hutts? I'm sure they can settle this.
Take it.
So it doesn't matter who you are or anything like that. If you're in the wrong, Jabba will set things right. Another thing that was cool was getting to see how R2-D2 met up with Obi-Wan Kenobi, getting to see how C-3PO came about, and seeing how R2-D2 and C-3PO actually met. Another thing that they did better than the original trilogy was the lightsaber battles. In the old movies, they only lightly smacked their lightsabers together. But this movie actually had some pretty good action with them. Seeing Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan fighting the droids was pretty cool, and the battle with Darth Maul at the end was pretty cool, especially seeing Darth Maul using the double lightsaber. And also during the big Senate meeting, it was really cool seeing the Wookiees attend the meeting. And it was really awesome finding out that E.T. and Star Wars takes place in the same universe. Also seeing the different places like Coruscant, Gungan City, the underwater sequence, and the pod race and stuff was pretty awesome as well. So there you go, that was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, on good old DVD. Now like I said before, with the exception of a few goofy things here and there, I thought the movie was actually pretty doggone good. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend going and checking it out.
Great review, Sir Janitor Jake, sir.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I sir. Funny, sir.
What the heck? I thought I told you to fix that.
I'm still so trying to figure out, sir, the interference, sir.
You're still so trying to figure out the interference, huh?
I'll have to try, sir, something different, sir.
Well, whatever. I have to get ready to go film some American Gaming Geek episodes with Chris K, the film guy, so you figure that out on your own time.
Will do, Sir Janitor Jake, sir.
Alright, sounds good. Look what you did. You made me forget to end the review, so I guess I have to end it right now. So, whatever. I'm Janitor Jake. Have a good one.
Look, Gatu, we finally made it to Janitor Jake's place.
Janitor Jake? Janitor Jake, are you there?
Stop it, Datu. We have to warn him about Jar Jar Binks before it's too late.
Janitor Jake! Janitor Jake? Janitor Jake?
Hello, sir.
Oh no, we're going to get caught. We'll have to warn Janitor Jake next time.